never far away.
Get your scruffy bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks. And if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge, and Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks. And if you're cruel, they won't fight back.
Hello, people of the internet.
Hello,
I am American McGee,
I'm Martin.
and we are coming to you live from. What are you laughing about?
I don't know, this feels weird being back.
This is the same. It has been a month, but
Yeah.
yeah, we are coming to you live from where are we? Shanghai, China, and the underground Lair. And it has been a month since the last time we did a live stream. What happened?
One of those weeks, you were traveling.
I went on a camping trip.
Oh, and I guess the other one, you were in Yenny's hometown.
That's right.
So that's why it's 2 weeks delayed.
Did we have some sort of Chinese holiday in the middle there? I feel like we did.
Maybe.
Not sure. Anyway, we are back this morning, and we're going to do the usual routine, which is we're going to... What's wrong?
Are we echoing? Nobody said it yet, but is Twitch...
It's not even showing up here.
Ah, good.
Okay. Thanks, Martin, for interrupting me. I was saying that we're going to do the usual thing. So we're going to look at some art. We do have a little bit of art from the Alice Asylum pre-production team. I will do a little bit of a business development and like other update as well. We've got some Plushie Dreadful designs to look at. We're going to give away prizes today. What kind of prizes are we giving away today? Oh yeah, an
Gonna
OCD
give
rabbit.
away 3 of these.
What is that?
It's an OCD rabbit. It does come with a little mask. This one doesn't have it.
Oh no, he's not wearing his mask.
You're not allowed into this establishment.
He's got a little removable brain as well.
It's a little removable. Can you? Crinkly
go.
brain.
It's a little bit of ASMR
So
for
yeah,
you
3
there.
of these, and then the last one, the last prize of the stream is the 8 mini rabbit set that some of you may have seen over on Mysterious.
The page isn't loading up, but I think they get the idea. There is a set of little tiny rabbits. There we go. And they look like that. And so that is going to be the grand prize for today. You could win a set of 8 mini rabbits. You don't need to zip that back up, Martin. It's okay.
I've got OCD about it. I do need to zip it up.
Oh, you've got OCD Rabbit about OCD Rabbit. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Now, did we have any special? We started off today. I guess we can jump right into playing the game, right? And then we can talk
Probably.
about. All right. Well, we're gonna jump right in. Oh, we should say hi to everybody.
Let's say hi to Desert Phoenix for gifting subs again, whatever that means,
Wow,
on
hey, Desert
Twitch.
Phoenix. AKA Ray. It's very nice to see you in there, and also gifting away.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Ghibli Girls here. Patient 322, Deeps to the Peeps. They're all here.
I think I saw Greg and his junk floating around in the chat there as well.
Did you? We should go to multi-stream.
Octo Chicken says that they saw us doing a cross promotion with Kiera Takanashi over the past few weeks. Yes,
That did happen.
this is true. Yeah, they reached out to us, or we reached out to them because they were doing a stream of Madness Returns, and we decided to give them some Plushie Dreadfuls that they could then give away to their viewers. So that was cool. Everybody was happy, and you're now dealing with like a mega prize giveaway of coordinating addresses, and
It's fine. They've actually been pretty good about it.
that's good.
So yeah, I think probably about 7 of them have written in by now. So
Right.
it's all going smoothly and or swimmingly.
Well, we've got so much practice with our people here on Twitch and YouTube and giving away prizes that, of course, it's going to be easy. And we'll give away prizes today. So
Yeah.
there you go. All right, we are going to jump into playing. I think we just tried to have a look at the multi-stream chat.
Give it.
There
yeah,
it
give it a
goes.
second.
Now we can see both YouTube and
So,
Twitch.
yeah, who else we got? Some new ones. Let's have a look. Looking Glass Zero. Martin, has there been any horror stories regarding prize sending? No horror stories. Sometimes people forget to put their address fully, you know, it's maybe they're a bit excited.
We have seen once or twice where somebody writes in to claim a prize and they're just like, Bob Smith, England. And that's it.
Some of them, yeah, it sounds silly, but
Right.
yeah. But yeah, no nightmares. I mean, sometimes they live in like not unusual places, but a little out of the way,
places.
expensive places
you
that
live
have
on-
terrible postal services.
Yeah, if you live on like Christmas Island, for example, in the middle of nowhere, not only does it cost a lot of money to get the thing to you, but a lot of times it like
It'll
takes
get
forever.
returned.
Yeah, exactly.
So we spend all that money for it not to arrive.
Exactly.
So we love it when people are just sort of like mainland Europe or America or Australia. and
living in
stuff.
a normal place. Is that what you're saying? Are you location
Normal
shaming
place.
people? I think you're location shaming people, Martin.
I am.
That's not cool.
Who else is here?
Ooh,
Big biddies. Ooh.
I'm sliding down tongues. This is and through bloody esophageal hallway chambers. This is pretty creepy, this section. But I suppose we are in the Queen's castle now, so what do you expect?
Yes.
She is a giant tentacle monster after all.
Detrox 1616 got their prize from August. Excellent. Hello from Lisa Sigl. Carla Lopez. Momo Section. Lots of people's here. Thanks y'all for joining in.
There you go. I had somebody on Twitter the other day ask me where the last of these Radula snail cave challenge things was, and said, I know it's supposed to be a secret, but tell me where it is. And I was like, if I told you that, it wouldn't be a secret, would it? I can't. Actually,
Secretly trying to like not tell him that you don't know.
I just don't know where it is, but I'm not going to admit that to you. I'm going to remain mysterious about it. I think a lot of authors and creators do this. Like, I do it all the time when people write in and they're like, so, you know, in chapter 2 of Madness Returns, and so said this, and what exactly does that mean? And a lot of times I'll just respond with stuff like, it's not a mystery if I tell you. Which,
Why didn't they just fly on the eagles to Mordor? Well,
you know, that's an excellent question. But I'm not telling you today.
yeah.
Yeah, this is part of the problem of still being alive, you know, after you release something and then having people ask you to back up why such and such thing happened in the story. It's not easy. Alex and I right now are in the middle of the not rewrite, that's not the right word. We're in the middle of sort of working on, I guess you could say, a sort of final version of the narrative outline for Asylum before work begins on making a final version of the design Bible. What does that mean? It means we're doing a lot of editing, and we're plugging up a lot of like plot holes, and we're responding to a lot of the comments that our insane children made over on Patreon, and a lot of it is related to that. Like, oh man, you know, if this character says this at this point in the story, we know that character should already be aware of X, Y, and Z, so that bit of dialogue just doesn't make any sense, right? Then you can't leave that stuff in there because people will eventually play the thing and then they'll be like, wait a second, that character already knew X, Y, and Z, so why would they claim, you know, A, B, C? And it's not until you're doing these sort of later passes through your narrative that you start to find stuff like that, so...
Right.
Anyway, we'll look at some of that a little bit later today. That document is basically, it's, you know, I won't say the document itself is done, but it certainly has gone through its it's getting very near to final. I know Alex is working on some stuff these days. I think we had the expectation that he might be done with his editing by the end of this week, and then he's going to build another PDF that's nicely formatted that we will share over on Patreon. I don't think there will be a chance for another round of crowd design on that unless somebody really points out, like, hey, I found this major plot hole that like breaks the whole game. So instead, what's going to happen is he's going to move back to work on the actual design Bible. And that's the same type of work that our art team are doing right now. They are already busy working on the pieces of art. They're going to fill out the design Bible. For those of you who don't know, who haven't been around, the design Bible is going to be like basically the closest thing to if you... What? What do you mean excellent? What is that all about, Mr. Burns? So yeah, the design Bible is going to be like the closest thing you have to, playing the game in book format, right? You'll be able to flip through the pages, which will step you through the large chunks of what the game would be. And that's what the narrative outline is all about. And that's going to be the next thing that we're putting our focus on.
All right.
I guess this one's finished, so let's get out of here.
Arta0 is reminding you to upgrade your weapons.
I don't
at all
even
those
know which
teeth.
button to press. I'm going to press the wrong button.
The weapon upgrade button.
I have to look down. Where is it? It's not that. That's the start button.
Start.
No, I pressed this other kind of option-y thing, and it... okay.
Yay.
Weapons. There we go. What should we upgrade? I've never even upgraded the teapot. Look at that. I have 3,400 teeth.
Get it done.
Look, you guys, you don't understand. I can't pretend to be terrible if I go through here and actually upgrade all my weapons and make them all awesome. It's
Should do a no upgrade run.
Well, I basically was doing a no upgrade run.
Alpha 1412 asks, I wonder if the Alice mocap enjoyed stomping around like that. Is it mocapped?
I'm not sure that action was mocapped. I feel like I remember that there was a bunch of trouble trying to sync up the action of the stomping and the physics of that and the damage being delivered with the animations, and I feel like maybe I remember that had to be kind of hand animated. So okay, everybody, did you see that? I think that was only the second time in the whole playthrough that I've upgraded weapons. So are you happy?
I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they're very happy now.
Why Don't Girls Poop is asking me, what was the best thing about losing weight? I don't... As weird as it sounds, physically, I don't feel that different. I don't suddenly feel like I've got masses of energy or anything, but, just the satisfaction of seeing the numbers on the scales go lower. It's quite good to know that you're achieving a goal. It's quite feel good. And yeah, looking at old pictures of yourself from like a year ago, and new pictures of yourself, and like thinking, man, I was a effing mess back then. It's just kind of nice to see. I'm not going to say I can suddenly run up 100 flights of stairs, or I've suddenly got all the ladies throwing themselves at my feet or anything, but it's nice to achieve goals and see the results. So, yay.
You might live longer.
I might live longer.
That's something to be...
I was going to live to 100 anyway, so let's see what I can do.
So this could be an interesting segue to the thing we were talking about before the stream began, which was we were trying to say what current events going on in the world might we mention during the stream, and we realized that a lot of things are just really terribly off limits and that you get in trouble. So, because the weight loss thing and the notion that there is a connection between obesity and health, is disputed. There's articles out there where people will say that that's, shaming and that you shouldn't make this sort of connection. And I guess the phrase like healthy at any size or something, again, and I don't want to get in trouble, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that there are so many topics these days that if you even just mention them the wrong way, you can get in trouble. So it means
we went through a big old list of like stuff like, oh, this is too political, this is a little racist, this might be sexist, this is awful for X, Y, and Z reason.
Yeah.
We can't talk about anything that's happening in the world.
And if now, are these ruin? Are they actually repainted a little bit red, or did they just end up red by virtue of the light in here? Because I like them. They're like, instead of being black, insidious ruin, they're like meaty ruin.
I think they're genuinely meaty.
It looked like they were
They
made
don't-
meaty.
It's not just light.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned to Martin that, like, obviously we both, not I. I live in China, Martin. I don't know where you live. But, we live in China, and these days there's a lot of anti-China rhetoric being spun up in the Western media, and a lot of it is based on false narratives about the reality of Chinese people and the Chinese government and things like that. And that stuff really pisses me off because China is our home, and also because we live here and we directly experience the reality of life in China, and we see that people living here are extremely happy and they're prosperous and they're optimistic. But if you read the Western media, they don't tell you that story. And it's upsetting because, like, I've seen this kind of stuff happen in the world before in the lead up to former or previous U.S. Instances of aggression, let's call them, or wars against other countries, and it's part of like a system of dehumanizing a place in preparation for convincing Americans to go to war against it. Now, I would like to talk about that kind of stuff, but when we talk about that, we get in trouble. I get people making YouTube videos about me, calling me a shill. So it's just like, what can we talk about? So basically, we can only talk about
Nice weather we're having today.
It's been cold.
It has been cold. But
Winter-
it's so bright and sunny out there
Winter
today.
has arrived in China. I don't know about where you are, but winter has arrived here. It got so cold so fast that it rained inside of our house. I don't know if that happened for you, but we had
No.
condensation on the skylight above our stairwell because in the day before there's a tongue in the ground. It went from, like, say 72 degrees down to 38 or something like that in the course of like 6 hours as the sun went down. So
Pretty bonkers.
it was bonkers.
Oh no, we're cold shaming. We can't
Uh-oh.
talk about the weather
Don't
anymore.
talk about the weather. Eskimos love the cold. How dare you shame the Eskimos?
Cold bashing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I told you before this stream started, like, there is this video that got made. These guys are bashing me. None of the things they say make any sense. So I do think I'm gonna sit down and record a response to that, but I'll probably do that by myself, and I'll upload it. It won't be a live stream, and then people can just choose if they want to watch it or not. But it's weird. We live in such a crazy polarized world now. It's the Queen.
Dun dun dun.
This is a great scene. You're gonna talk over it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Thanks, Martin.
No, if you don't want me to, let's have a look.
What you've denied. You've recaptured your vagrant memory.
What's great about it?
Well, this sort of like ties together a lot of the themes that you've experienced throughout the game. It kind of explains what it is that Alice's psyche is trying to do to itself, and sets up the final confrontation. Like, the Queen knows. At this point, the Queen knows what the infernal train is.
Right.
Can you give me more than a warning? Caterpillar said you might help.
I'd need a better reason to respond than what's currently on offer.
If you don't, we're all doomed.
Not doomed, forgotten.
It's probably the longest we've been quiet on a live stream ever.
I like this dialogue. I think it's a good scene. I like the cinematography in it. I like these tentacles creeping in.
We know you love tentacles.
Everybody loves tentacles.
Alright, let's have a look at chat, see if anything's going on.
Benefits from your
The
madness.
destruction of Wonderland is the destruction of me.
Indeed.
With a few new people asking about Asylum development.
We will get to that in just a
We'll
moment.
get to that.
Yeah.
I didn't kill my family.
Yeah, so I'm going to repeat myself, but the thing I like about this scene is that it's the I guess you call it the denouement. It's like the coming to realization that Alice's psyche knows that Bumpy's the bad guy, but of course the way that your psyche talks to you is never clear. You know, it's always in code. That's why your dreams are the way they are.
Okay.
But this is the closest you get to Alice's psyche just straight up telling her, like, Bumpy is the bad guy. So it's good. It's this big reveal. But of course it's done in a very dreamlike, Wonderland-like way, so...
Okay.
And it's where all of these previous characters come back together to kind of nail the conclusion, right?
Yeah.
You don't care. It's okay.
So I'm looking at the chats. There's an interesting one here. Kind of interesting. Can we touch on it?
Chinese aren't forcing people and telling them. So the Chinese aren't forcing people and telling them when they can play video games and when not to. That's a question, I guess. Yeah, so sometimes the truth hurts. There was legislation recently passed to control the amount of hours per week that children are allowed to play online, mobile, basically gambling games. Not the games like we're playing here, like a console or a PC single-player game, but these are specifically, the regulations are aimed specifically at children and the kinds of games that Western gamers often refer to as pay-to-win, or basically they're ones with the gotcha mechanics in them that are well known to be addictive and to be exploitive. They're the kinds of games that, like EA, for example, lost a massive lawsuit in, I think it was in the EU or in the UK, where it was basically proven that, like, you guys know these games are addictive and harmful and therefore pay us, the government regulators, a bunch of money. The difference is that here in China, they decided to pass some legislation to suggest that you needed to use some form of a real identification system to log into these games, and that they would limit the amount of time that children could play them. It's not a complete ban, but it is a limitation, and I think it's 3 hours per week.
Something low.
And it's limited to the weekends, but it also expands during the holidays. So, for example, if there's a big national holiday and you're not supposed to be in school or going to school or whatever, then you would be able to play those games a bit more. But it's also important to take this in context of a larger scheme aimed at improving the physical and mental life of children. That includes doing things like reducing the ability for teachers to assign homework and send that homework home, obviously, with the kids. So I think those things, they all have to be looked at in context of the situation here in China. And a lot of times when you read the Western news reports, they leave out all these details and they make it sound like it's this terrible authoritarian thing when, in fact, it's not.
I would also back that up with, do you live in a country where the government tells you what to do? Can, like, children buy cigarettes? Or is there rules that say that can't happen?
Where that person lives, children can buy cigarettes and porn and drive a car without a license at the age of 3.
Can you go through red lights in traffic, or is the government telling you what to do?
No. Where that person lives, children are exempt from traffic laws and can drive around drunk while masturbating to pornography and smoking cigarettes and running red lights. That's where that person lives. That's usually where they live when they ask those kinds of questions.
It's silly. Some, places have rules. That's the world.
Here's some bloodletting going on in here. So this section of the game, I think I've said this about a couple of sections, that these are some of my favorite places, but this section reminds me very much of what was going on in the Netflix series The Queen's Gambit. I don't know how many of you saw that. And when we've been talking recently to the streaming services about the possibility of making Alice into a film or a television series, and we've been having a lot of conversations like that recently, I've suggested that in order to fit into the TV series format, they should consider setting the series in this locale, in the asylum, with this Alice, the asylum Alice being sort of the protagonist, and then having a bunch of flash forwards and flashbacks from inside the asylum to the experiences that we've seen inside the game. Because I love these scenes, and I think as the Queen's Gambit showed, to portray a character, sort of in the clutches of the mental, quote unquote, very heavy quotes around mental health, but like the mental health system the sort of barbaric system of Victorian England at that time would be really, really cool.
Right.
Blood on the ceiling.
Ugh.
Yeah. And I think there's some leeches falling down from the ceiling there as well.
Probably. A couple of chats came in. They might have scrolled past.
They
I'm
want
not
to know where
sure.
they can move, they can live, where they can drive around.
Where there are
drunk.
no rules.
No rules.
No, somebody asks why they can't super chat in YouTube. I don't know, but it's probably because this is a Twitch stream and we're only kind of side streaming to YouTube. Maybe?
Maybe.
So yeah, sorry about that. We did have lots of trouble with YouTube and streaming and stuff, which is why we moved over to Twitch.
Correct.
But I mean, if you want to super chat and you can't, we do have a shop. You can buy something from us to support us. That'd be cool.
They might be wanting to ask a question.
Well,
with
I
a
saw,
super chat.
I saw them talking, so just talk. Maybe I'll see it.
There you go.
Yeah. Somebody else asked, what was it? There was 2 questions. Why can't you super chat? Oh, what time is it in Shanghai? It's 10:30 a.m.
10:25 a.m. on 11/11, which, by the way, is the largest shopping day in the world. I don't know how many of you know this, but Double 11 is the day which last night at midnight, like half of China was sitting awake on their phones, frantically pressing buy, because it's the day that you can get the most massive discounts for purchases online. Double 11. So my wife set an alarm and got out of bed at like 10 minutes until midnight last night and was sitting there going buy on a bunch of stuff. So Double 11 is, look it up, it's quite famous. They, like, in a single day, they will sell as much stuff at retail as sells in the US in like 6 months or something. It's like a bonkers, it's a really bonkers number like that. I'm not sure, but it's basically, 1 billion people in China all at once buying stuff. It's just, and then all of our Kuaidi, the delivery for our packages that we buy online, that'll all be kind of like jammed up for the next week or two because there's just so much stuff flowing through the system.
I was gonna say, I almost talked myself into getting a new TV.
Wow.
I don't really need one, but
They're so cheap.
Now I've got a PS5, I would quite like a TV with HDMI 2.1. HDMI 2.1
Super H.
for HDR and high refresh rate. But then I thought, it's fine as it is. I'm enjoying the games. 1080p 60's fine. Even though the TV I found was like under $500, it was a Redmi gaming TV. I thought, it'd be nice, but I don't really need it. So I almost convinced myself to buy it, but then I sort of talked myself down.
There you go.
Maybe next year. So yeah, I didn't get anything for 11/11 this year. Don't need anything.
I didn't get anything either. This is for my wife. She was buying some like household appliance type stuff for her mom. So we weren't buying anything super fun. I did want to say about the scene that we saw just a moment ago of the Tweedles, is that we'll look at today in the notes for the narrative outline, like something that we edited at the start of the narrative outline related to them. And I thought was quite fun, just to give you an example of like the kind of work that's been going on. I really like this this section of the game. I don't have a problem with the notion of like walking simulators, and just these sort of like horrific. Now this is the guy that has no face on the other side, is that right? Like nobody. Oh no, it's a different
scary
one.
face.
Well, I mean, you say that. Are you face shaming him?
Yeah.
He's pointing at you now, Martin. I feel like the graphics card on this is kind of struggling, just with the detail and some of these textures loading in very, very late.
It's showing its age.
Yeah.
Now it's probably about 3 or 4 years old.
Oh
this
no!
card.
Is this guy bumping his head into the wall? Yeah. So I read a very funny, well, not funny, but it's very, very particular to China. There was a story in the news this morning that was talking about how these old people are ending up with detached retinas. Did you see this?
No.
So there's a thing that people in China do if you go outside on any random day. Do you ever see people outside like either punching trees or basically bumping themselves into trees. Have you ever seen this in the parks and
I
stuff?
have not seen this.
No. Well, there used to be a guy that did it right in front of our house at the place where we lived before, but also
Nutting a tree.
yeah. So there's this belief among old Chinese people that various forms of bumping yourself into a tree will cure certain ills, right? Like if you have a sore back or something. So anyway, then they said there's been this rise of instances of people getting detached retinas. Basically, they're part of the skin of their eye falling off because they've been bashing their heads into the trees too much. And I just thought, like, oh boy, to be a doctor in China, because there's a lot of like mysticism, kind of old wives kind of cures. So whenever our son now gets like a boo-boo, you know, if he gets a bump or a little scrape or something, grandma grabs a potato and she takes a little slice off and she sticks the slice of potato on.
She waves it at him to cleanse his
no.
aura.
So anyway, like one day I don't remember what happened, but she cut herself pretty well or something, or that wasn't a cut. I think she was feeling sick or something. And then I joked, I was like, well, just stick some potato on it. And she didn't think it was very funny.
The only thing I see, which is kind of, I assume, a health benefit that the old do, is they walk backwards while clapping.
That's
Clap front, clap back, clap
Yeah.
front, while they're walking backwards.
They think that's going to take the miles off their body.
It is like driving a car backwards.
Exactly. All right, it is. We're at the half hour now, and while I am very much enjoying Walking Simulator, because I don't have to die among Walking Simulator, you know.
You've done all right today.
Well, there hasn't been anything to kill me today. I think I only fired my weapon, not even in anger. I just fired my weapon to like shoot out some trigger eyeballs or something. So
Give us a quick death.
what are you talking about? I would never. Oh, no. Okay.
Oh.
You know what's cool? We got this. What's this thing called? Oh, it's called a Stream Deck. So I don't have to try to mouse away from that anymore. I can just press the button. Isn't that cool?
I can press this button.
Wow.
Show it.
Look at that.
Then go back to this button.
That was my one. That was my one double 11 purchase. And as you saw, I got like a 200 Kwai discount on that.
Pretty good.
So there you go.
Pretty good.
All right, we need to give away a prize. What is the question going to be, Mr. Question Maker, Terrible Question Maker?
It's a good question.
No, it's not.
It is. They're all good. What
Is your favorite color?
blue? No, red. No. Where you fine folk are from, what are some other sort of like hokey old herbal remedies that you may have heard at that are nonsense?
That's okay.
It's a pretty good question.
It could have been worse.
Could have been.
I really thought it was going to be worse than that.
Let me think.
So I have one. When I
Alright.
was a kid, we had this stuff in Texas called bull nettle. Do you know what this is? So bull nettle is a type of plant, and it basically is covered in little spikes that if you make the mistake of walking into this, you will wish that you were dead. And it's extremely painful. And then the thing is that I one time walked into this and some guys saw that happen. And they were like, and I was in extreme pain, and they were like, pee on it. And so I proceeded to pee on myself, and they laughed, and they ran away, and the pain didn't go away. So it turns out that they just made me pee on myself.
They thought he might have heard that about jellyfish sting, so he'll probably believe it.
Well, it turns out the pee on a jellyfish sting is not exactly right. You should be dumping vinegar, but it's only on certain jellyfish stings.
Right.
So what's yours?
Well, somebody just reminded me there. It's actually a good one. They say duct tape on warts. But actually soaking a little bit of cotton wool in apple cider vinegar on the wart and then duct tape over it. Do that for like a week or two. Works.
Wow.
Hands down, guaranteed. Herbal remedy.
Apple Juice says people here in Mexico use an egg to detach bad auras from you. I've actually had someone do that to me in Mexico.
Did
So-
the aura become detached?
Obviously not. I still look at me. I still have it. What
Maybe
else?
it came back. It got detached and then just came back.
So Loki Loves Leaks says Vapo Rub cures everything according to my Abula. Yes, well,
I do like vapor rub.
it's use Windex on a cut. Oh,
Toothpaste on zits.
smell alcohol when you feel like puking.
Somebody said mud on a bee sting earlier.
Great. So you mean to tell me that potato on various wounds is not that crazy?
Apparently.
Kind of funny. Like, it makes sense because obviously as human beings we would like to not suffer. But back in the oldie days we didn't have many things to save ourselves from the suffering. So yeah,
Vinegar and brown paper for concussion.
vodka cures radiation, says Deeps to the Peeps. Wow, this is a really good series of answers. That was a good question you came up with for once.
They're all good.
No. Okay, you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. It is Etheria Prism. Congratulations, Etheria Prism. You have won yourself a, what was it? OCD Rabbit? OCD Rabbit looks like that. Man, this Stream Deck thing is cool. I can just like instantly. I feel professional now.
Yeah.
So anyway, OCD Rabbit looks like that. It is a rabbit. It does have OCD. There's a little animation I made of its little brain crawling out. Doot, 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 doot. I actually have a better one than this I need to upload to the website.
I did manage to put that into the marketing email.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, here's the list of features. A removable, enjoyable, scrunchy brain, a removable face mask, a sturdy tote bag, and that he measures that much.
That's very accurate. 34.5.
Who did that? Is that you? I mean, this is, for an OCD rabbit, that should actually be like 34.54. Just to be really, really accurate. Anyway, congratulations to
Etheria Prism.
Did you tell Etheria to do the thing?
Maybe not. Do the thing. Send an email with your name and address and telephone number and what you won to support@mysterious.design. Do that within the next 24 hours, or we're not going to send you anything, and there's no use crying about it, because we're really mean deep down.
Congratulations. All right. Art. So, first off, let's start off by saying that despite the fact that it's been a month since the last time we did a live stream, we don't have a huge amount of art to look at today. I think that's partly because the art pipeline it slowed down a little bit when we were gonna do, there we go. When we were doing the transition to the new blob of art for finishing out the design Bible. But anyway, that's my excuse. I'm just telling you that don't be too crazy today for new art, because I know that I'm going to look at Monday. So we will look at some stuff today. But yeah, I think that not a ton of art flowed in. Now, we did sign up a new artist. So look, there it is. Yay, we have a new team member. There's Gareth.
Hello, Gareth.
So yeah, Gareth is in New Zealand. He is a new team member, so we'll look at some of the art he did today. But anyway, just the forewarning that not a huge amount of new stuff, but there is a ton of stuff in the pipeline. So this was an old piece of art, and I put this up on my
Instagram.
Did you really get that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I know what we're watching today. Where is the folder with the art? I've lost the art folder. Yeah, because I wanted to show the Instagram.
Just go back.
Go back what?
Go back to 192.do.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry about that. Just freaking out. It's something there that Martin threw in the movies folder. We won't talk about.
No.
Okay, so what I wanted... Now I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Oh, I put the picture on my Instagram of the signing thing, right? So I was signing these. These were sent out to patrons. They turned out great. I guess Omri did this kind of like ye olde paper border thing on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I really like these a lot. Like, I think of all of the art prints we've produced so far, these two as a set, and because of the way that they've got this little, extra arty flourish of a border on them, man, they just look really, really good. So I signed a big old, look, you can see there's the stack. How many of those?
170 of each were ordered.
Okay.
So we've got some left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. You know, we do a double print month on Patreon every year for October. And yeah, this year's pretty sesh.
Right.
Do we need to turn that heater off?
It's not a heater. It's just a fan.
Is it? Oh.
So yeah, this was Hatter explaining to Alice the necessity of collecting the eye and the brain and the heart, and then this was Alice facing off against the Judgment Monster in the Queen's Domain. And these turned into great prints. They got printed up. If you want, you could go over to Patreon. These are in like some post not too far back in the distant past that are in fairly high resolution. You can go and grab them and make them into your desktop or whatever. But if you want to buy them, are you going to put them in the Mysterious Shop?
They're already in.
Oh, okay. There
I'm
you
on
go.
top of things, man.
All right, cool. So yeah, these are really good. I like these. I liked these art prints just as art images anyway for the game, but I liked them even better once he did this artsy border thing around it.
The Hatter one is currently much more popular for the 3 for 35 people when they get to actually choose the print.
You know, that
Because
never...
I guess it's less in your face and it's...
Look, do you really... What are you going to like, hang this face vagina guy up in like your kitchen and your mom comes over and is like, oh, sweetie, that's nice. Who's your friend with a vagina for a face? No, people don't. But
Yeah.
you could give this art print to your mom. And she'd be like, oh, sweetie, that's nice. But I really want to hang face vagina up in your dad's bedroom. Anyway, so I'm not surprised that this is more popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still good for both of them, though.
They're good. They're very nice. What else have we got in here? So this was from a series of images that Adam has been working on. These are in a section of the game that are memories that you're going to step back into. And they all kind of play into... Well, ultimately, they play. Obviously, they play into the large theme. That's a very dumb thing to say. I was talking to Alex about this. That like every line of dialogue and everything we do all ultimately has to play into the larger theme that we're trying to sell in Asylum. And of course, so we wouldn't have like a scene that you just throw away, like oh, just random sister dancing. But yeah, so this is Alice and Lizzie. Prior to the fire and having a nice little dance around the living room. Now this scene, as the cat is telling you, is he's like, get out, run away, because it's about to end in disaster. They're gonna trip and fall down, and oh, Alice cut her leg. Oops.
Octo Greg says he put the Alice flamingo picture up in their living room, and the mum actually loves it.
Yeah.
Alice ripping the heart out of a flamingo.
I like that one.
It's a good picture.
I feel like that I could hang in some public space. I feel like the weird vagina face guy, that's pushing
too
it.
much.
It's pushing it. It's a little too much. Anyway, so this series of images, the twirling happiness and then the falling down and cutting her knee. If you read the narrative outline or you eventually play the game, you will see how this scene and the interaction that they have with their mother plays into the larger narrative in terms of learning lessons and parental guidance and things like that. So yeah, these are pretty important scenes, but I think when you see them in the game, you know, you're just viewing them as sort of like not throwaway, but you're viewing them as just things to be recalled. And then it's not until later in the game that you realize the importance of all of this, like why it matters and why we decided to put these things into the game. Okay. You know, the way that you set this on the screen here is poop.
You were there when it was set, and you were like, "It's fine."
Now it's fine. So this was a relatively new one, I think. This is Alice and Kenny Loggins. I don't know if all of you are fans of Kenny Loggins.
He's just telling Alice that she's about to enter the danger zone.
Yes. Is that Kenny Loggins, or there's another one? Waylon Jennings? No. Who's the guy I'm thinking of? There's a country music singer, Kenny Rogers. Sorry, I meant to... Although Kenny Loggins would work because he's also got the man beard, but I meant to say Kenny Rogers is making a guest appearance in Alice Asylum with...
What happened to Keanu?
I don't know. They grew him up a bit. Does he still look like Keanu?
Not so much.
And she's got kind of a weird young Miley Cyrus. You know what we could do? We get Miley Cyrus and her dad, just like in the old Disney show, to play Alice. And I mean, can you imagine the fandom online? They'd be like, "No, you cannot cast Billy Ray Cyrus as Alice's father." Then again, I don't know. Maybe people would like that.
Maybe they would.
Yeah, we should start a Kickstarter around that.
Don't know till you try.
Billy Ray Cyrus and Miley Cyrus play American McGee's Alice. It would be terrible. All right.
Pretty much.
Don't worry, we're not going to do that. Now, this was a piece of art that Omri did. This is Alistair. So I guess this is a thing. Did you know this was a thing? Gender bender?
I've seen the cosplay before.
But have you ever heard of the notion of gender bender cosplays?
I guess. I do look at a lot of cosplay.
I mean, when I read it, I feel like I must have seen it once or twice before, but then once I was going to post this and I was putting in like the hashtag genderbender, and then you go on Instagram and you find there's a lot of people out there who will take, like, you'll get like a male Laura Croft, which is basically just Indiana Jones. But, you know, things like that where people will take a well-known male character like a Harry Potter and then have a female version of that costume, which is basically just Hermione. But okay, I'm making terrible examples of this.
Quick, do another one. A female Darth Maul, maybe. I don't know.
Which would just be that purple-haired woman who... No. I'm not sure, but yes, you could have a female Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't really know how popular the whole notion of gender bendering was for cosplay until Omri produced this. And now this started with a cosplayer that you can follow on Instagram called fakegeekguy_cosplay.
He replied to the tweet, didn't he?
He
the
did.
Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, there was a really kind of goofy comment from somebody who said, "How dare you post this up and not give the original guy credit?" And I'm like, but it literally says it in the picture and in the Instagram post.
That's pretty unusual, though.
Text.
Like, people on the internet being offended on behalf of someone else.
I don't know.
That's pretty rare.
But like, this was the original post, and I'm pretty sure he gets double credit in this post. Yeah, it says fake cosplay for reference credit. It literally says the word credit as well. And then here it's a thank you for the reference, and it has his picture. But somebody showed up and was like, "How dare you not give him credit?"
There's Juvia and Melissa as well.
No. I don't know what's wrong with people. Anyway, I then told that person to delete their Instagram, which apparently some people thought was going too far and some people thought was funny.
Is that the Instagram version of kill yourself?
I suppose.
Right.
I'm not sure. But anyway, everybody calmed down after that, and I told that person, just, you know, if you're gonna go and be critical about stuff, just do a little bit of research first. Don't just go straight into being a jerk.
Yeah. Some people do just jump straight in with the nuclear option. They don't.
But we've seen this before. Like there is a faction within the cosplay community that are so credit crazy. I've had people come and scream at me for my own designs, where somehow, like, they don't credit what it is that I did, like about the games or the art that they're pulling from. But if I happen to incidentally mention, and then their picture is like somewhere in the frame and they didn't get credit, man, they just go fuck nuclear. I didn't say it. I almost said it. I almost said the fuck word. No.
Stop using this. Use that.
It's sometimes faster.
Okay.
You're not the boss of me. Anyway, so that was Alistair. So I think next year, if you don't have your costume sorted out, you could go as Alistair. Maybe I should go as Alistair.
Maybe. Needs more stripes on his trousers, though. For the stripy stockings.
That's true. Yeah, why do all the black goo? Why is blood optional? Shouldn't blood be like part of the whole? I'm not sure about that. I never really paid attention to that. But yeah, there should be stripes and the blood isn't optional.
All right.
Oh well. Okay, moving on. This was more in the series that Adam was doing about sad Alice and her family.
Adam's style is changing and getting better, isn't he? He's doing some banging stuff these days.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I've talked with Omri about it. Omri, serving as the art director for the project, you know, he spends a lot of time working with our artists and sort of guiding them. And I think that both of them are quite happy working together. I think Adam has mentioned that he feels he's improved with help from the project and from Omri. And of course, we're happy to have him on board. And Omri seems very happy. So yeah, it's good. He's doing great work. Now, this is Joey. She doesn't really need improvement. She's already pretty good.
She's the best.
That she doesn't really, kind of doesn't follow instructions, but you just put up with that. That's okay.
Yeah, that's how you get like awesome like onomatopoeia and stuff in the sketches.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, you know, my view is if you do really incredibly good work, then you get a little bit of leeway about not having to do... What does that person have, like a dildo for a face? What's going on there? That feels wrong, Joey.
It's a Cenobite dildo face.
Now, there is a bunch of art on the walls here, and there is Alice having to run up the stairs. Now, it's weird. Again, on Instagram, there were one or two people who basically made some comments insinuating that we had stolen this piece of art from something.
Oh, no.
And I wasn't really sure. Apparently, there's some game out there, and they said something like, oh... fill in the blank of that game much? And I don't know. So anyway, that happens every once in a while. And I just think like, look, there's nothing new under the sun. If we happen to make a scene with some stairs and oh my God, there's art on the stairs and
people talking about it looks like the mansion from Resident Evil.
I guess.
I mean, it's
Biohazard.
It's an old building with stairs.
But that's not the one that I think I replied to. Because somebody made a really snarky reply like, oh, way to just this person who said, beautiful, just a question. Why does Alice have her kitchen apron? Does it make sense? I said, never heard of anybody refer to her classic blue dress as a kitchen apron. What sort of mushrooms are you eating? So I don't know what was going on there.
Uh-oh. Lag F.
I don't know.
Things look fine.
Normal here.
Bring up Glasswire.
I don't know where Glasswire is.
Yeah. Looks fine.
So anyway, the main point of this image isn't really meant to be the art on the walls or which game we stole this scene from or anything like that. The main point of this is that you're supposed to notice the creepy Bumby guy hiding under the stairs.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, that was sort of the notion behind this image. Is that a nun?
Yeah,
it looks like a nun. She looks quite nice. She somehow looks cute, even though she's very blurry there. Cute, blurry nun. So anyway, yeah, there's a Bumby hiding under the stairs there. What's up, Bumby?
Yeah, creepy. It looks like the old entrance lobby for Disneyland's Club 33.
Ah, right.
Is that the super exclusive one with like a 12-year waiting list?
That's true. Yeah, this sort of stripy wallpaper does give it that sort of funny 70s Scooby-Doo mystery house vibe. That makes sense. All right. Now this piece of art was the first piece of art that was turned in by Gareth, who I streamed past a minute ago in Monday. And yeah, this is showing Alice has brought basically a copy of the Hatter's memories and minds, and he's reinstalling them in the Hatter that she finds once she escapes the snow globe. None of that probably makes any sense unless you understand what's going on with the story. But anyway, I don't want to give away too many spoilers. If you're interested, go read the narrative outline. Or if you've not read it, maybe wait a week or two and we're going to put a new version of the narrative outline up online. And anyway, so yeah, this is Alice inserting Hatter's brain back into his head.
Spider Mom X says, OMG, her face is so cute. She is anime-esque in this image. I like it.
So that's one of the things, you know, we've brought on board a new artist, and when you do that, you often end up with variations in the presentation of the characters that we know and love. I feel like the alterations that he's done in terms of the Hatter's face don't really bother me very much. I think about. For me, I'm very particular about this, and if you followed along when we were working on the 3D model of Alice's face, you'll remember that we were really like nudging around millimeters at a time trying to get the face right. And so anyway, that's fine. You know, what we do say normally in a situation like this is that no, this face does not suggest that her face for the entire series has now been changed. This is concept artwork. This is mainly designed to convey information related to the scene in which, you know, Alice is reinserting the brain into the Hatter. It's not on paper that like this scene redefines what Alice's face looks like. No, this is just a storyboard for the narrative.
People loving her hair in this image. It's nice hair.
People always like when she gets like Princess Leia's space buns type stuff going on. It's very strange. Anyway.
Yeah, good pick.
Now, this is the most recent piece of art to come through the pipeline. It actually got sent this morning. This is a reworking of an image. You can see Caterpillar sat at the center there. This is from a memory that she revisits, and it's not really a memory. It's more like it's a dream. It's a nightmare.
Ooh.
This is the funeral of her parents.
Oh, no.
And if you think about it, like Alice's family died in the fire, but during the funeral, she wasn't there because they had stuck her in a hospital and they were going to send her off to the asylum. So there's this sort of recreated memory that she has of what the funeral would have been like. And that is this scene. And in this scene, she's made to feel terribly guilty. That's what all these people in the audience on the pews here are doing.
Pointing.
They're pointing, and they're playing the part of Alice's subconscious in making her feel guilty and terrible for not being there to save her family, and also not even being at the funeral, right? Which of course is a terrible thing to do because she's just a little girl and she didn't have control over where she was at that period in time. But that's what this scene is going to convey.
All right. Looking Glass 0 suggests on Gareth's image there may be a mistake on the clock.
Ooh.
5 coming before 4 or something? So
But it's the Mad Hatter's domain.
it is.
But this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this should be a 5, but instead there's like the 2, and then this should be VI. This should just be V.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 is IV. This should just be V.
IV doesn't even exist as a
it
number.
doesn't. So that's completely wrong. So, and then 6 would be here, which is just VI. So yeah. But look, it's the Mad Hatter's domain. Drugs, don't do them, kids, or you'll end up with messed up Roman numerals.
Just say no, like Zamo should have
Exactly.
in Grange Hill.
So, any other questions? Any other?
Desert Phoenix asks, will the changes and additions be highlighted in any way so we know what they are? He's talking about Alice's face in that, so we know not to expect.
What?
I think that's what they mean. Like, if there's something that's clearly not going to be as it is in game, is it going to be highlighted in some way? Probably not.
I don't really understand that.
I was just reading what he said.
Oh. Well, maybe ask the question again in a different way so I can see it, and then I'll try to answer you, Desert Phoenix, because I don't really fully understand that. Because I have said multiple times, you know, you need to be careful when you're looking at concept art that it doesn't necessarily depict what will be final in the game. And it certainly shouldn't be taken that like variation in the way a face is rendered in one image suggests that we're changing the way the face looks in the entire game. That would be nonsensical. So, yeah.
All right.
Falls Scout Gaming and Voice Acting says, will there be a demo for the game once it's close to finished? That kind of decision is really up to the publisher once the thing gets into development, but we are not yet in development. But there will come a point, hopefully not too far in the future, where we get in development and we start building something, and then it's going to be up to whoever financed and or is publishing the game to decide whether or not a demo gets produced. That's not usually up to the developer by themselves, and it's certainly not something that I could suggest I know the answer to at this point in history.
All right. There you go.
Somebody says, I am naked. Girls don't
Yeah,
poop.
Girls Don't Poop's always naked on every stream.
cool.
apparently.
It does seem that way.
Never seen proof, though.
We maybe don't want to see proof. Be careful what you wish for there, Martin. So, back to art review. This was just stuck in there because I was talking to people about it online. We did I shared the Alistair costume. And then I was going to say to people, you know, if Alistair isn't your speed, then maybe try going as this sort of shock Alice. But you would have to cut yourself in half or something to pull this costume off. I guess you wouldn't necessarily have to cut yourself in half. You could wear like a black tube stocking in the center there.
Darker Crimson says, "Hey Martin, I won some patches in one of the last streams and they're haven't arrived. Have we given patches away in like months?
Don't know. I thought we gave away the ones that were on the desk. Here, the little...
Either way, write in support@mysterious.design to the original email where you gave me your address and I will check.
There you go. But do keep in mind that things take like 4 to 6 weeks to arrive these days, especially as we get closer to the holidays. Desert Phoenix says, in the next version of the Design Bible, same question. I guess the question is, will changes be marked as changes in the next version of the narrative outline? So look, I don't think that's going to happen. I'll just pull this up really quick. I was going to pull it up later, but this is the document that I'm working inside of with Alex. Now, obviously inside the document that we're working on, when we make changes, they get highlighted as such, and then we can go through here and we comment on the changes that are taking place. This was going to be, you know, one that I talked about in a minute, but where we've talked about, like, we've always said there was going to be a balloon that Alice uses to escape from the circus, but now we're suggesting that the balloon is 2 big balloons that are in the shape of Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and they ride in it at the very opening scene, and then you're gonna escape in that when you get out of the circus. So that's been called out, but by the time that this ends up where Alex has formatted it and put it back into into a PDF for everybody to read, no, it will not. You could open up the 2 PDFs side by side though, and depending on which Adobe version license you have, you can do a compare, and so you would be able to see where the changes have taken place.
I change my channel name when I asks, will some maps come back, like the Vale of Tears? Yes, but they'll be sort of corrupted, exploded, darker, twisted versions of old favorites.
So this is the Vale of Tears. You asked,
looks nothing like it. What's going on?
You asked that question at a great time. So this is in the Vale of Tears. This is as she is making her way to a rendezvous with the Duchess. We do have other art related to the Vale of Tears that you can go back and find on Patreon. If you just type in Vale, that should search for the posts in which we've put some of those images up. And there are some really beautiful images from the Vale of Tears. It's one of my favorite sections from the game. And so, yeah, it's definitely included. But because of the new darkness, the chaos that's, you know, working its way into Alice's Wonderland reality, that stuff is working its way through and destroying everything. And so you'll find that as she makes her way up this particular valley, lots and lots of the pigs belonging to the Duchess have been slaughtered. So she doesn't even really get a chance to fight these guys. And then by the time she gets to the Duchess is rightly angered at the slaughtering of her little babies. But yeah, you will get to spend some time in the Vale of Tears. There's a fairly large section of the game that takes place in that area.
Excellent.
There you go.
Prize time,
It is
I guess.
So we're going to do, again, we're going to give away Ptsd Rabbit. Is that right? Oh yeah, we basically got to the end of the art folder. So that was good timing. That was the last image in there. So prize time, I was going to ask, what did you go as for Halloween? Because that's a pretty easy one. What did you go as for Halloween? Did you go as something for Halloween?
I had Rick.
That's
from
right.
Last year in my
Do you ever not
wardrobe.
go as Rick?
Yes. I always don't go as Rick. But yeah, went out. There was a few people in the pub. bar, whatever you want to call it. Spider-Man was there. Spider-Gwen was there. So what else?
Did you
Wasn't
see any
many.
Squid Game people?
I have seen Squid Game guards roaming around.
Right.
Weirdly, a few Squid Game guard children. It's like, are you watching Squid Game?
Yeah, so
young whippersnapper.
we put on the first episode of Squid Game with my kid on the bed with us the other night, because the first episode, for the first 80% of it is okay. You can watch it and a kid could watch it and nothing like really terrible happens. But of course at the final 20% it's like a bunch of gun deaths and blood. And I felt really bad because my kids started going da da tang shui. And so those two words mean pain and blood. I was like, maybe we shouldn't be watching this with him in the room. So
Maybe.
yeah, I did not dress up for anything on Halloween. I don't think we even did anything Halloween-y. But I see people here did. Ghibli girl dressed as a cat.
Yay.
I always thought that was a cute outfit. Eric Kali went as Princess Leia.
Princess Leia.
Nice.
Kawaii princess. The
A hooker. See you next Tuesday, guys. Went as a hooker. Okay.
Doomslayer / Predator combo. Sounds complex.
Wow. Nothing, says Ice Killer. There you go. I went as nothing also.
Did you finish Squid Game?
No, we only watched the first episode. We haven't had time since then. And I can't, we might try to watch it on the bed when he's going to sleep with us, but not if it's like that. So
It's great.
no.
Finished it. Great little thing. Are you watching subbed or dubbed?
It's both. It's the dubbed English with the Chinese subtitles. Is trick-or-treating popular in China? Yes. If you go out in different neighborhoods and different xiaochus, like that's the little section, I don't know, apartment complex, I guess if you were in the West, you might call it that. You will find kids trick-or-treating around. Where we used to live, there was a big, massive walking street. And when we went there on last Halloween or the Halloween before, it was packed with kids doing trick-or-treating stuff.
I saw, because I was out, I think, again, on the Saturday, there must have been sort of like a route in the area that people were doing, a route, whatever you Americans say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just like gangs of kids showing up at the bar. And I'm like, why are kids coming to a bar?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they were handing out candies and stuff. So
Yeah.
it must have been like one stop on a map that they had or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. It's big. It's really big. So to answer the question, yes, trick-or-treating is a big thing here in China. All right, we're gonna roll it and we're gonna see who wins. And it is Mott Minx 666.
Yay.
Congratulations, Mott Minx 666. You have won your own OCD rabbit. And in order to claim your prize, you're going to need to do the thing. So that is to send an email to support@mysterious.design, include your name and your not email address, your name, your phone number, your mailing address, and do all that within 24 hours and in a human readable, non-anger inducing format. And we will send you an OCD rabbit of your very own.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Because we're nice like that.
Yeah. So I think that was it for art review. We did get to the end of this folder. We looked at that Veil of Tears thing.
It's a gorgeous picture. Who drew this?
Yeah, that's not a drawing. I went to this temple. I drove like 3 hours west of where we are currently and to a little town out there called Deqing. And this temple is over 1,000 years old, which is pretty crazy when you think about it.
Pretty bonkers.
So yeah, we went doing some camping and some hiking and stuff. And so I put this in here because I was going to explain like where was I during one of those weeks where we didn't do a live stream. I was doing hiking to places like this. It was pretty cool. And it was very beautiful out. This was like foresty, woody stuff.
Do you think, is that temple like, there's like a famous saying or something that, you've got a broom, the handle breaks and you replace it. and then the head breaks and you replace it.
And
Is it the
it's
same
still-
broom?
Well,
Is
for
that the
sure-
same temple?
So usually when it comes to things like this, for sure, the stones that you're walking on, at least some amount of them are still going to be the same. But you're right. A lot of times, like the wood and stuff like that won't still be the same. But like the little pedestals that the wood sit on might be original. It's hard to say. But,
There
you
it
know.
is. Ship of Theseus. I knew it was a thing.
Oh. So, I've seen It's Miss Super mention this twice now. They say, huge fan here, was wondering why EA decided not to help with the production of this Alice. And do you have a team besides the two of you working on it? I really want this game to come out. The first two Alices were a masterpiece. I don't think I've got the company overview thing on the desktop here, do I? Is it somewhere easy, that PDF, like the overview of the team?
Might
Do you know?
be, if you minimize this, there's a stream folder on the desktop.
Stream
might-
assets.
might be
It might be in there.
Do a search for .pdf or something.
Let's see. So first of all, yes, I'm trying to pull up a PDF that explains the size of the team and what we've been working on. So there is a team that's beyond just the two of us. In fact, there's a team of artists. That's where all this art stuff is coming from. We also have, that didn't work.
Is that doing anything?
It doesn't look like it did anything. We also have a dedicated business development guy who's working on all of this for us right now. He's going out and basically trying to raise money and or pitch to publishers like let's say Amazon, for example. And so there are a bunch of conversations happening. There's also some Chinese publishers that are at the table, and
Redacted.
yeah, that's what we refer to as redacted. Let's see if this will open in Brave. Right, there it goes. Yeah, so we've shown this many times. I think this one is safe to show.
Double check.
I'll scroll through this really quick just to make sure that we're not in danger of showing off something we shouldn't. But yeah, this looks okay. Yeah, so there's this. I mean, this is actually a fairly old one. This is the one that we were showing to EA ages ago. But this has, since the time where this proposal got built, we have updated this, and it has been put in front of, again, companies like EA and Netflix and a variety of other dedicated game publishers, and also companies like Netflix. Did I already say Netflix? So the pitch is quite wide. It is that we would do the games and we would do the merchandise, and also we've now included things like film and television. There was news that went out not long ago that we partnered up with Radar Pictures in Hollywood. They're also at the table and helping out with this stuff. So the team itself, and actually from when this was built, the team has grown quite a bit, but you can see some of the team there on the screen. This is a bit outdated, so some more people have been added to this for sure. And this doesn't fully list out all of our artists.
This does seem like an old file.
This is an old one. But yeah, Mark, that's who's working on business development stuff for us now. So he's been quite busy trying to get a deal done. Hopefully one of these days, not too far in the future, we're going to have some news from him about that. So that's something we're waiting on right now.
There you go.
I guess right now would be a good chance, because I was going to do a bit of an update on... I did have a conversation last week with a very well-known writer, producer, director, actor, who is not only well-known in the film world, like he's worked on Marvel, like some of the X-Men movies and things like that, but he's also worked on games. So he's quite interesting in just the range of places where he's worked. Anyway, I had a big long conversation with him because the hope is to bring him on board to do an Alice TV series. And so we talked a bit about what his vision would be. Now, getting somebody like him to come on board and be what you'd call like a showrunner, or somebody who's involved with writing and producing these episodes, would help to lock the deal getting done. Like the way Hollywood works is they want to see a name like that attached to the project, and then they'll sign a deal. So We had a really great conversation, and assuming that he can work out his agreement with the people where he needs to do that, and he signs up, then I have a really good feeling that something will happen to get a television show made. And if a television show starts getting made, and let's use Netflix as an example, because we are talking to them. They do have a games division. They are interested in making games like Asylum. I think that the guy who's in charge of the games division at Netflix now is a former EA exec. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But someone like him would want to package the whole thing up. Let's make the TV show. Let's have American and his team make a game, and then the whole project would come off the ground. It would be good. So,
excellent.
yeah.
Just looking at this by Enchantra. When you guys send merch, please don't have a label thing on the art thing. When you take off the label, it ruins the picture. The label shouldn't be attached to the picture. It should be attached to a piece of tissue paper wrapped around the picture.
Correct. So please send a picture of that, Enchantra. You can send a note to Martin, support@mysterious.design. Yeah, we don't wrap our art so that the labels touch the art. We wrap the art, then we put a piece of tissue paper around it, and then we stick the label that holds everything together onto the tissue paper. So if you got something different than that and it damaged your art print, please send a picture of it and everything, and we'll try to fix that.
Yeah.
Ghibli Girl says, would this be animated or live action? We've had conversations with these companies where some of them tend to want more animated content, and that's like the big drive they have internally, and others of them want more live action. So just again, as an example, I'm not saying this is the reality, but I'm bound not to give away too much of this information, so I'm going to make stuff up about this as an example. So as an example, these days Amazon might be pushing for more adult animated content. I don't mean pornographic animated content. I mean, like, they have a piece of budget set aside to make cartoons for adults with violent, action type themes. Where
Invincible.
There you go. Whereas Netflix, their current thing might be like, man, Squid Game is doing really, really well. We need more live action stuff like that. So depending on who you're pitching to, you're pitching a different type of project. And that is the case with us right now. We have an opportunity with one of these companies where they're pushing really hard to make animated content with us. It's not necessarily about Alice. It's about another one of the IPs that I created. But we have another opportunity with another one of the companies where they're pushing really hard on an animated series for Alice. I mean, not animated, sorry. They're pushing really hard on a live action series for Alice. So we'll see.
All right. There you go. Answered that. Somebody asks, how did the Plushie Dreadful / Kiara thing come about?
I think I might have tweeted to Kiara on Twitter, and I think I said, hey, I saw you're going to play Madness Returns. Would you like me to throw some plush toys in for you to give away? And Kiara said yes. So then their managers contacted us, and we arranged everything, and Bob's your uncle.
Excellent stuff.
There you go.
Simple pimple.
That's gross. That's very, very gross, Martin. So I was going to say, I thought we got through all the art. I don't know that we saw this. Did we get through this?
No.
No. Okay, well, that was another piece of art. I think this is the piece of art that's meant to signify the fact that before the sisters go to bed every night, they put out all the lamps.
Okay.
So, which raises the question, like, if all the lamps were put out, why did the house burn down? And
Indeed.
why indeed?
Closer.
Why did you burn the house down, you jerk? Anyway, all that will be revealed in due time. Speaking of Plushie Dreadfuls, thank you for the clean segue there. I'm going to pull up, where is it? There we go, November. We did have a few things in the Plushie Dreadfuls to look at. Now, first one I'm going to put on screen here.
Yes, Brandon the Rabbit.
I don't know how many of you get this joke, but apparently this has been a thing that's been going on in U.S. politics. Do you know about this?
I have no idea what this is.
So apparently some people know and some people don't. We're not, okay, to be clear, we're not going to make this rabbit. I just thought it was very funny. So there's this whole thing going on in the US around this phrase, "Let's go Brandon," and it's basically just a way that people go about expressing their displeasure for Joe Biden as a president. And so then I guess Jennifer and I were talking, and we said it'd be funny if there was a Brandon Rabbit, but we're not actually going to make that. But I did think I'd put it up on screen because for half of our audience, they won't get it, and the other half will say lol.
Did Biden say something silly about "Let's go, Brandon"?
No, the story was more like, I think there was like a race car driver being interviewed, and in the background, the audience was chanting F Joe Biden, and then the reporter didn't want that to be what the people watching the television thought they were saying, so she tried to gaslight everybody by saying, "Oh, they're chanting 'Let's go Brandon," but it was very clear from the audio that they were not chanting that. By the way, I am politically agnostic when it comes to the United States of America. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to pick sides. I've managed to stay. Martin knows that I'm actually quite politically aware, but I'm very simple. I am anti-war. That's it. So if you have a candidate, I don't care if the candidate is a flaming pile of shit. If that candidate comes out and says, "I will not start any new foreign interventions or wars or stuff like that," I will vote for that pile of shit. But nobody really does that anymore. Anyway, that I just want to say the Brandon Rabbit is in no way a political statement. I just thought it was funny because I saw so many people on Twitter talking about it.
Okay.
I kind of sometimes wish that we could make rabbits to address political memes, but I talked with Jennifer about it. We just feel like we'd get in too much trouble.
Maybe.
So anyway. This is the next thing that is getting work done. Now this is in production. We did share this as a crowd design thing up over on Instagram, and this is Gender Dysphoria Rabbit, and it got a huge response when we shared it. There were a ton of people who were very happy to see this, and we got a lot of feedback on it. And Jennifer was the one who put together a team. We haven't really, what's the way to say that? We haven't revealed the team, but she does have a couple of people she worked with on the initial design. And then we asked for comments and feedback, and we got a ton of comments and feedback on this rabbit. So this one is off to the workshop right now. We should be seeing a prototype of this relatively soon. And if you want to comment on this, there will be a point sometime in the near future where the physical prototype comes back, and we will display that on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere, and you'll be able to get your comments into that. So yeah, there you go.
So yeah, just saw a few comments there. It's my thoughts as well. The ears should be different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Is that happening?
I think that it is.
Yay.
I don't know that I have the new design in the folder right here. I think what I have is the original design, but a variation, a new design did get made before it was sent to the workshop. So there will be a couple of changes based on the feedback you see here before that happens.
Excellent.
Now this comment is important to me because we see this. I've seen this more than a few times where actual psychotherapists come into the comments and they say these designs are incredibly helpful, and then they'll give some professional feedback. And I always try to point this out when we're posting these things up, is to ask that people please be gentle and please understand that we're trying to destigmatize a lot of these issues, and we're trying to produce products that allow people who may be struggling or who may be looking for acceptance to have something they can hold on to and say somebody understands me, which is exactly why, for example, the themes that exist within Madness Returns and the original Alice game are what they are, because the products are designed as an extension of the struggles that I've had, and I want to provide people products that they can identify with, because they know those products have been made with people like them in mind, and made by people who've had shared their struggles, right? So these kind of comments I really love to see when there's medical professionals who come and back that up, because sometimes we get people in the comments who are like, "How dare you?"
Did you tell this person about the Hope Rabbit?
What do you mean?
They mentioned like the trans flag colors. I know that the Hope Rabbit is quite colorful.
But I don't understand what the Hope Rabbit has to do with this rabbit.
I was just talking about this. They're just talking about, ways they could change it. I just wonder if you mentioned the other rabbits we have to this person.
I don't think I mentioned the other rabbits to this person, because this person was specifically commenting on this rabbit. So I'm not sure I really understand the point you're trying to make, but okay. Anyway, so this one's coming along really nicely. I think we're pretty happy with that. And then we also have Relax Mad Cow. This got a lot of response. I was pretty shocked. I think that Jen was pretty shocked with this one.
Squishy udders.
The idea was we've done almost everything we've done so far has been a rabbit, basically. We've done a few, like we did one bear and we did something else. But anyway, she had this idea to try to mix it up a little bit and have like a cow. And there was a very positive response to this, but we did get a few people who said, "How dare you not do something?" This is the funny thing about the internet, right? On the one side, we get people who post extreme comments where they say, "How dare you deal with psychological issues?" And then when she did this cow, we got a bunch of people saying, "How dare you not deal with psychological issues?" So you can't make all the people happy all the time.
You can't, but we do get, more than a handful of people writing in when they've bought a rabbit of some type, like thanking us.
Right.
"Oh, this is really great. It really helps. Thanks for doing this." It's like, "Oh, happy to help."
Yeah, it's good. Anyway, this one I don't think has any sort of specific theme or meaning other than it's a cow with like squishy punchable udders that if you feel angry you could give him a little punch in the udder. I don't know. I don't know.
Should be able to put like a little liquid bag in that udder thing and actually drink from it.
That's disgusting. Are you okay. Can you imagine people would be like, "My child drank the milk that I put in there and it was a week old and got sick and went to the hospital and now I'm suing you." So this one is the design file for a pregnant rabbit. This is what the design files look like actually before Yin sends them to the factory. And the characters here, it's a Huai Yun Tu. So this literally means pregnant. Huai Yunle is pregnant and Tudza is a rabbit. So this is a pregnant rabbit. Now the idea we had for this was to make it where it's got a little openable pouch down here and the little rabbits can come out and people could do a gender reveal based on the rabbit. Now, again, this is one of those places where we talked quite a bit about this because we worry that like maybe if we include like the boy and the girl, then when it comes to gender, will people want a neutral color because they don't want to define what the gender of the child is before the child has the ability to decide for themselves, right? But then when we said, well, we'll make a little white rabbit, I talked to her a bit and we said there are going to be people out there who get really angry because there's no representation of darker skin colors. And we still, I think what we've decided is we're going to make lots of different colors and then maybe have an option on the website that allows you to choose, like they will all come with this set, the pink and the blue and the white. So the idea is that if it's a gender reveal party, you would put either a pink or a blue or a white inside the rabbit, and then everybody has a rabbit. But then what we're going to do is an optional set of small mini bunnies of different colors that you can select separately. So that way, if you want to do something related to different color, race, whatever, you'd have the option to do that. But we're still trying to work on that. So that's going to be something we're going to open up to crowd design.
It's a minefield.
It is a minefield.
We just want to make cute rabbits.
Right. So see, and S Sweeting says, but it's not gender reveal, it's sex reveal. So see, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes by saying that, because look, where I live, which is in a vacuum mostly from Western culture, The last time that I saw videos of people like burning down their houses because they did some sort of a crazy this is where I even got the idea. I understood that there's some sort of crazy fad around doing these reveal parties, right? Like a gender reveal party. And now it seems that someone in the chat is correcting me that it's not called a gender reveal party. It should be called a sex reveal party. I don't know. All I'm saying is that this is a thing, that these reveal parties are a thing. And so I had the idea to make it so you could buy these rabbits because they won't burn down your house when everybody pulls a bunch of pink bunnies out of them. I don't know. But apparently we're going to get in trouble.
Well, as long as you can reveal it without causing a forest fire or something, then, you know, it's a step up from what has been happening.
Well, yeah, but as you can see, somebody, that's a great comment. Savo says, yes, but if you announce that you're having a sex party, you may get the wrong guests. That's very funny. Plot twist, the bunny explodes. So, I see. Desert Phoenix is in the chat pissing people off because he's saying that there's only two genders. Ray/Desert Phoenix, I suggest that you look up gender dysmorphia because there is a medically defined version of having your internals, your wiring, your hormones, everything mixed up. It's not just a made-up concept, a present-day, modern-day made-up concept. There are literally people who are born with not messed up. See, I'm going to get in trouble because I'm saying it the
Are
wrong
you
way.
saying they're messed up?
There are people born that are not clearly fitting into the male or the female category. That's what I'm trying to say. That is absolutely a thing. So, Desert Phoenix, please go look that up and educate yourself on it before you continue stating medically incorrect information. All right. All right. So let's go on.
So,
to
plushies.
The next... Yes. All right. Here is Ptsd Rabbit. This is what happens after American tries to design rabbits. That just pisses everybody off, and I can't say anything right. I'm gonna get in trouble with everybody. So yeah, Ptsd Rabbit. Again, we did do this via crowd design. Now, a lot of the experience for Ptsd Rabbit came from my own personal experience and a couple of others who we asked for input on this subject who've also struggled with PTSD. The notion here is that you've got this little trauma bunny, and the little trauma bunny is tied to the rabbit with like handcuffs and chains. And then also you've got these masks that Yen says the factories are going to cut out of, like, I guess it's going to be like a pleather, like a PU. I'm not sure if it's real leather, but there will be these little masks and you'll be able to put them on. And these are basically meant to be the masks that hide the true emotion underneath. So this, unfortunately, this rabbit design doesn't have the face without the mask revealed, but underneath that there's a face and it's crying and it's a sad.
No.
Yeah. So yes, it does have removable masks. Now the symbol on the chest here, I saw somebody in the chat ask, this was, I think, going to be lead, and the idea was to convert lead into gold, but what we ended up with in the final design is a black hole. Like if you've ever heard that, Black Hole Sun song. So it's going to be a black hole. So here's the final-ish version that Yen sent off to the factory. PTSD2. You see he's got this little hole, this little black hole in his chest there. So that's what the final symbol will look like. And you can see the face here without the mask, crying, obviously, and sad. And she gave the factory some instructions on different ways to try to attach the little trauma bunny to the larger rabbit.
It could be tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope they can do a good job with that.
Yep. Well, PTSD is one of the primary themes in the work we're doing on Alice Asylum. It is a theme here in this rabbit. And like I said, we have a lot of people who are fans of the games, and then people like myself who've struggled with PTSD. And, it's something that I think speaks to a lot of people. I hope this design works. It works for me. I think it's pretty cool. But we do have one more round of design to go through after the prototype shows up. So if you have comments on this, you can share them at that time.
Cosmic Bdn says, when the game is in development, will we still get streams like this?
Yes.
Yeah, no reason why not, I guess. Yeah, simple answer. Yay.
The longer answer is yes. It says over on Patreon as well. Once we get into the actual development of the game, we intend to continue live streaming. We would then have development streams. We also would want to share development builds and get feedback on stuff as it's getting made. So yes, it is time for a contest. Why don't you ask the question? I'm afraid I'll ask something politically incorrect.
Probably would. Now, I can't think of anything else that's not, hey, let's talk about something politically incorrect. Questions.
I suppose that could be the question. Like, what is the most annoying politically incorrect thing, or what is the most politically incorrect thing you've ever done? No, that's going to get people in trouble.
Yeah.
Because it is a thing. Like, I noticed there was this big brouhaha. That's exactly what I was saying. We can't talk about this. Like, the whole Dave Chappelle thing, he got in a lot of trouble. They had the walkout at Netflix. But how do you ask a question around that to... I don't even know. Here's one. Do you feel... I guess this is just a yes or no answer, but do you feel that political correctness has impacted your ability to freely express yourself? That's my question for the are we living in a sort of era of political correctness such that you feel your ability to express yourself is... There you go.
Probably
Everybody's
yes.
saying yes.
I mean, even if you don't censor yourself, I'm sure most people still go through that extra step in their head about, can I? Yeah, I'm going to say it. So it has still affected people. Yeah, I'd probably do it. I don't really write much on the internet.
So it's
but
funny.
I guess I still think about it.
Well, a lot of times people, when they're coming at me about China, what they want to say is something along the lines of, well, at least I live in a free society where I can say what I want, which I always find is kind of interesting, because the desire for the freedom of expression, or the things that you would express freely, are very different depending on the culture in which you live in. So I'll just give you an example. Like, in the US, you can have a bumper sticker on the back of your car that says "fuck Trump," right? And that is considered to be by many Americans an ultimate expression of freedom of expression, because you're directly saying F you to the leader of the country. And it's true that if you were to put that bumper sticker, well, first of all, if you just put a "fuck Trump" on the back of your car in China, nobody would bat an eye. In fact, they'd be confused, because there's a car here that is the brand name Trump.
Trumpy.
Yeah, Trumpy. So if you did that, they'd just be like, what do you have against that car? But the thing is, people in China would never... first of all, maybe you would get in trouble if you put some sort of like explicitive about Xi Jinping on the back of your car. But here's the thing. In China, even when it comes to your dissatisfaction with like your neighbor or somebody working in a shop or something like that, you very, very rarely voice that dissatisfaction to their face in public. It's all linked up with the notion of face, and you never want to publicly shame another person and put them in a corner where they don't have a way to kind of back out. You always do these things as gently and through like third parties as possible, right? So when I hear people talking about that kind of stuff, I think like, yeah, you're right, you couldn't put that bumper sticker on the back of your car. But then I also think like, in China, people are fairly free to do and say things that I think in the US you'd think were kind of offensive to do in public. And then vice versa, in the US, there's a lot of topics, like we've tried to touch on a little bit today, that you can't publicly come out, and if you do, you're going to get attacked. And it's like, that then brings up this notion of there's no free speech. You have free speech, but not without consequences, right?
Yeah.
And then I think, well, like, if you have free speech but not without consequences, then how is that very different from how it is in all the other countries, including China, in the world? Anyway.
Oh, the world's so complicated.
It is.
When did this happen?
Let's just give away a prize.
I want to go back to being a kid and watch cartoons and play with my Transformers.
It's crazy. All right, we're going to give away the prize now. Let's see who Nightbot. 3, 2, 1. Cosmic BDN.
Cosmic BDN.
Yeah. Congratulations, Cosmic BDN. You're going to want to send an email to support@mysterious.design. Include your name, your mailing address, your phone number. Do all of that in a legible, non-anger inducing format and do it within 24 hours. And we will send you a Plushie Dreadful. We're sending a what? We're sending a OCD Rabbit.
I think that's like short for Cosmic Biden.
Don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, Enchantra says, it feels like walking on eggshells into the ravenous sharks with anything on the internet. Yep. I get it a lot on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see it, because I'll sometimes just post up something really innocuous, like, I went camping in China. And then people come and attack me. They're like, how dare you, you horrible China shill. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm just living. This has nothing, there's not an attack against you. But people don't like it. They don't like it. They don't want you to be happy. All right.
People.
So speaking of
What's going on here?
So this is the little beastie of Night Terror. So Night Terror is one of the Plushie Dreadfuls we're working on right now. Now this one in particular is based on the notion of sleep paralysis. So I don't know how many of you in the audience deal with sleep paralysis. Do you? Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
No.
No. How many of you in the audience have had sleep paralysis? I bet it's more than a few. So the notion of sleep paralysis, I struggled with it a lot when I was a kid. I used to have really terrible nightmares. They maybe were related to the abuse that I was going through. I'm not sure, but in order to finally get out of it, I had to train myself to lucid dream. But prior to that, I would have these situations where I would feel like I was awake, but I would also feel like there was like a monster in the room and it was like right on top of me and it was going to kill me and it was suffocating me and I couldn't get up. And a lot of times when you hear people talk about the sense that they've been like abducted by aliens or that they had aliens doing things to them while they slept, scientists have now determined that probably what's going on is that they're stuck in sleep paralysis. And sleep paralysis is perhaps, I've seen people talk about it, could be a chemical issue because there's a chemical that your body floods with when you're in deep sleep, your brain floods with, that basically stops you being able to have motor functions while you dream. Because otherwise you'd like punch yourself out while you were sleeping and stuff like that, right? And so what's happening is that the chemical to tell your body to switch back on and allow you to have motor function again that signal doesn't get sent or picked up. And then you end up in this sort of like half dream, half frozen state. And it's quite terrifying for people. So that's what this rabbit is.
I have woke up fast sometimes, like a little too fast, and I'm still kind of half dreaming. And I'm awake, I'm in my room, and I'm looking at something that should terrify the crap out of me. Like just something floating across the room. And as I'm watching it, it'll just disappear from my vision as I'm waking up properly.
Yep. So
I've experienced stuff like that, but I've never been paralyzed by it.
So that's the other one I used to get. I think a lot of people get is where your dream state of your brain crosses over to a point where your eyes have opened up. And so you're kind of dreaming with your eyes open, and that can also be pretty terrifying. So this bunny, again, this was requested by people on Instagram and Facebook. They wanted to see this type of design. So we did this design, and then the design came back. And so this is by the way, the materials being used here are not correct. This is the first prototype. It's purely to establish the shape and the design of the toy itself. So this one is the little, I guess this is the little Night Terror bunny that you see grasping onto the main bunny, and then this is the main bunny with the Night Terror bunny kind of like face hugging onto him. So again, materials are not final on any of this. This is just to get the shape and the size and all that stuff right.
Okay, I was wondering what was going on in this picture. I couldn't quite figure it out from the thumbnail.
That is the little Night Terror bunny grasping onto the larger kind of rabbit that's experiencing sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be able to separate them from one another. So when you get this as a set, it's actually two little toys that stick together.
Yeah.
Which is what this design here is showing. So yeah, in the final version of this guy's got like these little crazy spider eyes all wrapped around his head, and he's got this permanently open, scary maw of a mouth. And then this guy has got his eyes in this kind of like half awake, half sleep. You can see she's done a little design detail there. So
Okay. A lot of plushies coming.
we do. This is Sleep Shui Bu Ming Tu. It means insomnia. This is actually the word for insomnia. I don't know if that's the right. It doesn't matter. The the factory won't care. They'll just be like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, that's that might be the last piece of Plushie Dreadful stuff. So why don't we get to questions?
Comments. Let's see what's going on.
That thing's pretty cool.
It's all right.
Push buttons and stuff just flips around, and there's the game. The down camera is not pointing at anything. The web. I like it. It's fast. It works. All right. Let's
Pretty
do
good.
questions.
We'll make it look nicer later. So this is for the Down from the Mountains post. What was this one about? It was one of the last ones, because Rebecca here says, I like D the best.
Har har.
So she's obviously gunning for your crown for that
Har
one.
har. I know. Everybody thinks that's very funny. When I say I like D. Down from the Mountains. That is this post. And doesn't click. I clicked, but it didn't do anything.
But apart from that, I don't know what these images are, but B seems to be getting a lot of love. From Mindstuck Ida Jock, Sherry Mora,
Oh,
Kakio Lukia.
this was talking about the art from Adam. Man, our internet's really being very slow right now.
Oh, touch wood, don't collapse.
I hope that it's not downloading some sort of Windows update in the background. So yeah, here you go. So this is Kenny Rogers, Miley Cyrus and Billy Ray Cyrus. There you go.
All right.
And I think we ended up on this one.
C.
Right?
Yes, that kind of looks like the one we saw.
I think that's the one we ended up on.
Philip Bedoya said C. So yes, Sarah Kakzor, Grayson Kim. Yeah, it looks like a good choice. C was also getting a lot of love.
Right. Yeah. So that was the one in the end. Now I think I said to Adam that I was having issues with the way that the pose of Lizzie was being done, because in my eye there was something really kind of coy and flirty with the way she was holding herself, like this kind of like twist of the leg,
Right.
this kind of hand on the hip type stuff. So
yeah, who's she trying to pull?
I'm not sure. It's like, she's got like the dress with the exposed shoulders. And look, I mean, today's world, fine, but this was Victorian London, and there was just something very, I don't know,
You'd be
that felt-
stoned to death in the streets.
maybe in ye olde London.
Maybe.
Anyway, so yeah, the final version that we got out of that was this one. That was quite nice.
A lot less flirty.
Yes, although I can see her ankles. Oh my God,
Jesus Christ.
this is like almost a pornography in Victorian era.
A little bit. So yeah, basically this one was basically just people choosing A, B, or C, but it looks like the correct choice got made.
Good. I'm glad. I'm always glad when the correct choice gets made.
So the next one, Chaos in the Vale of Pigs. What was this post about? Looks like another bunch of people enjoying the art.
I'm gonna let you look at us instead of having to look at beach balling web browser in case it decides to do that again. There you go. Also, I just like pressing this button thing. It's really cool. Why didn't we get one of these earlier?
I have thought about it in the past, but
So yeah, this is the one in which we showed off the sort of earlier render, although this looks very similar to what I think is did we get a final version of this yet? Is this clearer and more final than the one here? It's not.
About the same-ish.
I think he's maybe still working on a variation of this. I'm not sure. Anyway, okay, so it's this post.
All right. Well, Rugner's Custom Creations is loving the creepy pig art. Celtic Kitty, tentacle pigs are amazing.
Somebody
Right
says
there.
pornography addiction rabbit. That would be hilarious. Like with one big arm on the right and like a small arm on the left, or depending on, it's swappable, so you can, yes. Terrible.
It's pretty good though. What else we got? Sarah Caxor again, loving the art of the sisters. Robert Hardy, nice picture of the sisters, but the problem is they look a bit too much the same height. I guess this image, but you know, she's bending down a bit. But yeah, she's a bit smaller than the other images, I guess.
I get it. I mean, she looks like she's got kind of a big head with a small body, and she looks like she's kind of more normally proportioned, but look, you know, it's a minor thing. This is gonna basically be a kind of, you know, a minor illustration in the larger design Bible. On the page, it's going to be a lot smaller than this. I don't think it's a huge thing, but we'll see if Adam still has time towards the end. He might do a little bit to clean up the proportion.
Okay, well pointed out, Robert Hardy. Love the art, says Grace and Kem, but do not hang that in Lucky's room. I guess
This one, yeah.
Well, no, probably the tentacle pig, I guess.
Oh, that one, yeah. So yeah, he did that. I think that's maybe the cleaned up version of that. I thought that by itself was actually pretty cool.
I don't know. Yeah, that's about it for that one. Just people loving the art. Getting a lot of these. Good Cop, Bad Cop is the next post.
This one.
Yeah, what was going on in this?
I think that I wrote that title because it was in the scene. You have, obviously you see her mom is like, go to your room. You're not having any dinner tonight.
All right.
But again, just to try to talk about this without giving too much away, these scenes all set up a reveal later in the game that is pretty critical to the overall narrative of the game. And so, this is basically like the foundational elements of Alice's psyche with relation to her mom and her dad and lessons involving pain. And so, yeah, in this scene and in the scenes that follow around this, the mom and the dad are playing off of each other. The mom has to be the bad guy, and then later on the dad goes and consoles them. And so, anyway, we had quite a bit to talk about inside of this.
All right. Derek Crowder likes C. Mum seems to be comforting using physical contact, but also showing Alice the importance of her mistake. All right, but likes Lizzie in B. Austin Cook is liking C. Alice's mother is definitely concerned, and I like that Alice is running to embrace her. It says something that Alice runs to her for comfort, rather than sit and stare in fear for being punished. I guess so.
So there's some questions here. Pepe Le Pepe, I don't know what that means, says, how much will we see of her family? There are quite a few scenes that cut to the memories that Alice has of experiences like this with her family. This is actually quite family focused, and her mom and her dad, and they play pretty important roles in the narrative and also in Wonderland. So Spider Mom X says, are you bringing back the 2D paper art style from the cutscenes in the second game? I don't know, but I do like it a lot, and I know a lot of people do like that style. So if it ends up that it makes sense for us from a production and budget perspective, then we might.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool, and I mean, even today when we were watching some of those cutscenes, they still stand up.
Good scenes.
Someone said, could someone be kind and upload a tutorial on Alice's makeup? I'd like to make a cosplay. Go check out the YouTube channel for a cosplayer makeup artist called Made You Look. She's done several of Alice's makeups on her channel, including the Cheshire Cat, and I think she did a Card Guard and a couple of others. And she's really, really good. So if you want to see something along those lines, that would be the place to go. I try to put makeup on Martin for a tutorial, but he just gets angry and it doesn't work. It doesn't stick to the beard and everything. So yeah.
Sorry. What we got here then? Bill Swabbo says, B is the image I feel conveys the aftermath well, though looking almost angry. The emotion from Mum should be more like disappointment.
Yep.
Instead of anger.
Well, we had a bit of a conversation about this, and my comment about this was one that I was trying to make as informed by my experiences as a father. And it's a weird thing, like you even saw some of it this morning. My son this morning, he's 2 years old, and some days he's great, and some days he wakes up in a really weird mood where he's just very needy and cryy, and he's very kind of defiant, I guess is the word, resistant, I don't know. But you have to navigate this stuff, and you kind of have to play a part sometimes, like, and I was kind of having to do that this morning of being a little more stern with him than I actually felt. And so you find yourself doing that quite often, where it's like, look, love you to pieces, but you can't stab the dog with whatever piece of thing you just picked up. And you have, and at the same time you think like what they're doing is kind of funny. So you have to, not stabbing the dog, by the way. That's a terrible example. If Lucky goes to stab the dog, I won't think it's funny, but there are things that he does that are naughty but also funny, but you can't laugh because then you encourage it, right? And so when we were writing these scenes, I was talking about that with Omri and with Adam and Alex, trying to say that there's a really delicate balance to be played here. And I said that what we have to do is show that Mom is gonna look really stern and she's gonna seem really mean, but so that you, the audience, don't come away from this entire game thinking that Alice's mom's just a bitch. We have to then have an aside between Mom and Dad where you see Mom wink and it's clear, something like that. I mean, that may be a little too on the nose, but you're going to see something where, Mom squeezes Dad's shoulder or something and says, you take dinner to them. And she softens up. So you realize like, oh, all of that stuff of being stern was an act because she feels it's important they learn this lesson, and that's not going to happen if she's being too sweet, which again plays into the larger narrative of what's going on inside of the game. So
all right, and the rest of them are generally just people choosing their choice. C, C, B, D, B, C.
There you go.
The last one's not really a lot going on.
Caitlin Bishop says Lucky is having terrible twos. Actually, knock on wood, he hasn't been terrible at all. Every once in a while, he's a little bit on edge of terrible, but so far we've been really shocked with how unterrible he's been. So if this is it, then we'll be able to deal with it.
You did have to run upstairs just before the stream to stop him screeching like a girl. Yeah,
well,
repeatedly.
Yeah, that should be on Mom to keep a lid on that, but it's okay.
Yeah, bless him. So yeah, this is from the Slumber Before Chaos, but there's so few here. What's it say? Nicholas Brokaw is glad to hear that work is starting up on the narrative again. Cheesabelle says that whatever's happening in that post is a beautiful scene, which is mirrored by Hannah Mitchell. And yeah, Grace and Kem, again, doing a lot of comments these days, agreeing. They both look happy.
There you go. Somebody says, American, you should get a potato for that tooth. What's that mean?
Are you doing something with your mouth that I'm not aware of?
I don't think so. What tooth do I need to get a potato for? That's weird.
Know. Who said that?
It seems like a interesting comment. Anyway.
Clarify.
All right, so that's it. We got through all the comments. We got through all the art. We got through all the posts. I did kind of do a business update, did I not?
A little bit.
We didn't really scroll through Monday, but like I said, there wasn't a lot of new art in there that we needed to scroll through. We did see it all. Hopefully when we come back in 2 weeks from now, there'll be a bit more art to look at. And as always, if you're interested in all the art and stuff, I do post this stuff up over on Patreon pretty regularly. What?
It's a lucky thing for teething. Put a potato on it.
Oh, I see. But he's not teething, though. You may just put a potato on him if he's being naughty. That sounds...
Just lay a giant potato on him to cure all ailments.
Oh, so did I say he was teething? I don't think I said that because he's not teething. But that's okay. Okay, so
what we
else?
can do for the final question, and also to let people know what might happen, is the calendar poster suggestion.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay, so you explain this. I'm gonna find the picture. There it is.
Yeah,
it was your idea.
So yeah, last year we did an actual A4 calendar. Turned out really great. A bunch of people bought it. It was cheaper for patrons, all that jazz. It was all great. Didn't really get around to it this year because it does take a lot of time to do. Alex usually does it and he's been very busy and whatnot. But I did have the idea that instead of doing a calendar, what if one of our monthly posters was a calendar? You know, 2/3 of the image at the top was like one of our great pieces of art, and then you just had the months and stuff at the bottom, or some other ratio, whatever. Would people be interested in that, is the question. I mean, I guess we could turn it around reasonably quick.
Oh, we could do it instantly.
So it could even potentially be next month's print.
Correct. I like it because we know how to send posters. We know how to send things that are in this shape, right? A big poster shape with some calendar on it. The main thing is we need to get Alex on the case as quickly as possible. But yeah, something like, why don't we just print that with this random family on it? Like nobody knows who that is.
Just use MS Paint
but
to
you know
put
what we
Alice's
could do?
face on stuff.
We could take this one and get Omri to draw tentacles all over them, and then we could be like, it's Alice because it's got tentacles on it. Just random family with tentacles.
Could do.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the plan. We'll have to look at what's
Somebody says it would have to be really big, but like grab that art print and show them what our art prints look like in terms of size, because they are really big. That is one of our art prints. So you can see that it is as big as Martin's torso.
As half a Martin.
There you go. They are huge. So you can imagine that like up, from here down, there's a bunch of art print stuff, and then down here is the calendar stuff. So yeah. I don't know, that could work.
Yeah, I think people seem happy with that. But yeah, we would have to engage that quickly and promote it quickly. I think people would quite like to jump on board with that. So
cool.
We also need to see what next month's scheduled print is. So we might need to replace it, or it could be part of the calendar.
Exactly.
So we'll look into it, but it's looking like a yes.
It is looking like a yes. Okay, so that is the calendar thing. Did you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Then the last thing is we're going to give away the last prize, and the last prize is the best prize. So if you stuck it out, then you are now in the running to win one of these here Plushie Dreadful 8 bunny mini sets. Look at that.
Wow, who did that?
So yeah, this is 8 of, well, it says that in the title. I don't know what else to tell you, but anyway, it's 8 of the little bunnies based on all the bunnies we've released in the past. They come in a little set. I feel like I'm just saying the words that are already on the page there.
Show, don't say.
Okay. And they come in this little bag, and I don't know what else to tell you. So so there you go. That's what you're going to win. Martin, do you have a question for the people?
That was the question. People want the calendar or not?
That's the question?
People were saying stuff, so it's been charging up Nightbot.
Ask it again.
Do you want a calendar poster?
Terrible. Now, while we're waiting for Nightbot to load up, I don't know. That was about it.
Let's do the 4 things.
Yeah. So this has been American Martin. We did a live stream. We are working on a new Alice Asylum game. If you have questions about the thing that we're doing, go to my YouTube channel and go to the FAQ section. And a lot of your questions are answered in the FAQ question section. So yeah, And if not, if you've got other questions that can be easily answered by Googling them, then please come to Twitter and tweet those questions at me instead of Googling them. And then beyond that, if you want to help us get a new Alice game made, you should go over to AmericanMcGee.com and do the thing, which is to supply your name and address and all that stuff to the mailing list. You can follow me on some of the social medias like Facebook, where I never go anymore, Instagram, where I barely go because people make really dumb comments. We're on Twitch right now, which we do every 2 weeks. Twitter, where I get in big fights with people about, whether you'd rather be free and dead or alive and living under communism. YouTube, which like we said, we have technical difficulties with, so we don't go there so much. And then Tumblr, which I never go to, but I automatically post there from Instagram, so whatever.
And don't we have a TikTok now?
How is that as a sales pitch? We don't have a TikTok because communism. They won't let me set up a TikTok.
Isn't Jen setting up one?
I don't know what she's doing.
Well, maybe next stream there'll be a TikTok.
Yeah. So I tried to set up a TikTok, and they're like, no, you're in China. You should be on Douyin. And I'm like, but I don't want to be on Douyin. I want to no, you can't be on TikTok. So
Douyin's great, though.
It is pretty funny. It is literally what turns all of China into a giant walking zombie nation, because everyone's just constantly staring at Douyin. It's crazy. Okay, and then there's Patreon. So yeah, you can go over to Patreon. That's where you can get access to all this cool art and design stuff that we're doing. And like I said, a big thing that's coming up very soon is that we are going to release this, the remaster, the rewrite, the final version of the Alice Asylum narrative overview, and then this is going to go into the design Bible. So if you do want to eat all the spoilers, if you want to know what happens in Alice Asylum, this new narrative outline will be uploaded over on Patreon pretty soon. That'll be the first and best place to grab that. Where else were we? And then, oh yeah, Mysterious. You can go buy skulls.
Yay. Did you say Patreon? You did.
That's Patreon right there.
Yeah, okay.
And for anybody who's confused, Patreon is how we pay our artists. So if you go and you support us over on Patreon, you're supporting Alex and Omri and Gareth and Jennifer and Joey. If you go and you buy things on Mysterious, then you're supporting me and Martin and Lucky and my wife, because that's how we stay alive. So those two things are actually kind of separate. We try not to spend Patreon money on anything other than what it says on Patreon we're going to spend it on. So if you want to feed me and Martin, then you should actually go buy a skull or something like that.
Please do.
There you go.
Plenty of skulls.
Okay. That's it. We did the thing.
Roll it.
Oh, we got to roll it. We're going to find out who wins the thing. Where is it? 3, 2, 1. It's Verletta.
Verletta.
I'm going to let you do this because I'm losing my voice.
Oh no, hang on. 8 rabbits. Send an email, Verletta, to support@mysterious.design with your name, address, telephone number, what you won, all formatted correctly and nicely so I can read it. Do that within the next 24 hours and you will get your prize. Do that 1 second later and you will get nothing. Except maybe some Lulu poop through the post.
There are times where I do wish we could send people Lulu poop in the post, but I think we get in trouble, so we won't do that. I think that's it. I think we're finished. Are we finished?
I think we're finished.
All right. Well, that was a good stream. Nothing crashed. We didn't have the same kind of problems we had last week around. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We will hopefully be back in 2 weeks with all kinds of art and story and hopefully other big, important updates. We're fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed and all that jazz.
All righty.
What do we say at the end? Get out the kitchen.
Get bent.
Get bent. Jib it up. See you next time.
I can just push this button now. Ready? 1, 2.
The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks. And if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge, and Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks. And if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge, and Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com.